Hey everyone, Tim from Everyday Tactical Vids here, and today we're taking a look at this blade. This is the Spyderco Tenacious. The MSRP on this product is $69.95. You're going to be able to find it out there for a variety of different prices from around the $37 mark up to probably the mid-50s. In general, that's what I've found it for online at various retailers. So some of the specs on this blade: your overall length is 7.76 inches, your blade length is 3.39 inches, close length 4.45 inches, and your cutting edge is 3.39 inches. Weight is 4.1 ounces, and your blade steel is 8CR13 MOV. Now, if you're familiar with Spyderco blades, you'll know one thing to be very aware of is that they come very sharp out of the box. So I've never gotten a Spyderco knife out of the box and thought, oh man, this thing is really dull, I should sharpen it up. Put a little bit more of an edge on it maybe in the future, yeah, but right out of the box, these are very sharp. So just be careful as you do handle the blade when you take it out of the box. First, we'll just take a look at the knife from end to end. There's your G10 handles, your blade on the other side, pocket clip. Now, one thing you may have noticed is this thing right here, that it says China, as far as where this knife is made. For some people, that is a make or break deal. If it's made in China, they're not going to buy it. I'm going to make another video on this to just talk about gear overall, but if it's made in China, the issue is always quality control. If you find a place that has good quality control and they make good quality knives, then you should be in good hands, or you should get a product that you should be happy with when you get your hands on it. The other thing is that if you buy a Spyderco knife in the US and you buy it from either A local retailer, or B, from Spyderco directly, if you have issues, you can deal with your local retailer or Spyderco. You don't have to go back to China, or contact somebody in China, I should say, to deal with the issue. So just keep that in mind. Some people freak out about the fact that it says made in China, but again, quality control is where it all lands. Now, one of the features I really like about this knife is the tip here, and you can see it does have a good tip for piercing. And for some of the Spyderco knives out there, they have a very rounded tip. Depending on what you're doing, that could be good for your applications, but for me, I like a tip that I could actually pierce with, so I can cut into something or pierce into something and then do the cut. That's an advantage for me when it comes to the Spyderco Tenacious. As you can see here, we have that cool Spyderco logo and their classic Spyderco hole there, and that's for opening the blade. You can see Spyderco 8CR13 MOV. Going down to the handle, it is textured. It's not super aggressive, so keep that in mind. If you're going to be using it in very wet circumstances, you may want to add some texturing on your own, or even consider a different knife perhaps. It does have some good grip, and as you can see, jimping up here and jimping down on the bottom as well. I do like this jimping a lot. Let me just show you what that looks like a little bit up close. I find this to be pretty much for me, the perfect amount and perfect style of jimping. Some jimping is too aggressive and it beats your hand up when it doesn't need to, and other jimping is just not worth it. This, when I get a hold of that, my thumb just fits really nicely in there because I have good positive control, and then the jimping underneath there on your lock, which as you can see is a liner lock. And the other thing to note here, as you flip it over, you get these 3 different attachment points for your pocket clip, so you can go tip up, tip down, right hand, left hand, whatever you want to do when it comes to attaching your pocket clip. A couple of the other features worth mentioning: as you can see, mine is just the plain edge here, and it's also just your normal steel, and you can get this in a black coated steel as well. Full flat grind is the style for this blade. Showing you the other side there as well. And inside you've got your liner lock, which it secures up very nicely. You do have some, it is milled out a little bit there on the inside to reduce your weight. You can see that inside. Deployment of the Tenacious is quite easy. I will note that, let me just show you here real quick. You can see I got that nasty crack on my fingertip just from the dry weather and such. So my hands are all beat up, so I'm not able to deploy a pocket knife or a folding knife, whatever it is, as quickly as I want. But still, even with my hands all beat up, this comes out very quickly, and then you can close it up with one hand, obviously carefully. But deployment on the Tenacious, very easy to do, and locks in nice and secure. You can see here where your liner lock actually ends up. There you go. We'll do some basic tasks now with the Spyderco Tenacious. As you can see, I have some cardboard here. And let me just get the camera angle correct. No problem cutting through that whatsoever. I'll do a longer cut here. A little bit hard to do with staying behind the camera here, but as you can see, makes quick work of the cardboard. Got some webbing here, and now we'll take the Tenacious through that. As you can see, no problem for that whatsoever. Makes quick work of the webbing as well. People often want to know about paracord and how an EDC knife works for cutting paracord, so I'll just show you here. Again, this blade comes extremely sharp, so be careful when you're using it if you do pick up one of these knives. And as you can see, no problem whatsoever for paracord as well. Next up, we'll do some batoning on this piece of wood. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do any batoning with the Spyderco Tenacious. Not made for that. Great EDC knife, but certainly not for made for batoning. Most knives aren't, quite honestly, but that's a different story. So let's just show you what it looks like cutting some wood here, shaving some wood off this this stick. So that obviously makes quick work of that wood as well. When it comes to a good EDC knife, I think Spyderco's Tenacious is one of the best ones out there. I paid around $50 for it. That's a little bit more than you're going to find from most retailers, but very reasonably priced. Spyderco makes an excellent product. I like the style of it. It deploys quickly. It's solid lockup. And pretty much everything I want in an EDC. And as I mentioned, it has that a little bit more of a tip that's good for piercing. So it's certainly not a spear point, but it's got that tip that you can actually pierce into something and then do some cutting. So for the $54 range, or on average probably closer to $40, this is a good option. A couple other options in this same kind of class. You've got the Rat 2, and we'll be doing a review of that soon. You can see that is a little bit smaller as far as the width of the blade and also just overall size. And then on the higher end, as far as cost and overall size too, is the Benchmade Griptilian. And if you've been watching Everyday Tactical Vids, you know the Griptilian is my standard kind of go-to for EDC knives. And then if you want to go a little bit more expensive, even beyond that, you can see here I've got the Mini Barrage from Benchmade. That is a little bit smaller. It does have that black coating, and that one is a special edition with work they did with Cabela's, and that one ran about $125. So you're going from the 40 range, a little bit down to probably the 30-ish range for the Rat 2, up to the $80 or $90 range for the Griptilian, then up closer to $120 or so for the Mini Barrage, particularly that one. So here are your options, and this video, again, is about the Spyderco Tenacious. Great, great EDC blade. If you do have the one with the black coated blade, I'd love to hear about that and just how that's held up. I thought that was really a nice looking blade. I just wanted to save a little bit of money, so that's why I went with this one instead. Thanks as always for checking out our videos. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Tumblr. Take care.